Yeah, I'll just do a video. Hang on. Hang on. I'll just do a video. Okay. We'll do a quick video and I'll just throw it up right fucking now. Okay. Throw it up right now. This is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. We'll do it right now. I'll do it. Okay. Okay. So you're level 15 Throne and Liberty. You have a build guide you're following on Max Roll or one of these other websites, and you know you can see where the gear farms, but you know you just don't really know like where's the best place for me to use my Abyssal contract currency, which dungeons do I run. The instance dungeons is kind of obvious, right? But it really just comes down to, do you have the gear already? Is it fully traded? If your gear's not fully traded, what type of gear are you wearing? Right? Like I'm mostly in plate, right? I'm pretty much all in plate, and then I have a couple of these other accessories, right? So if I wanted to trade up this plate chest, I would ideally like to farm Abyssal contract currencies in a place that drops plate blue chest pieces, right? It could just be any chest piece, right? If it has the traits you want, but it's just easier to put plate with plate. It doesn't have to be plate to plate, right? It just depends on the trait on it, but it has to be the same slot, right? So no matter what, if you want to throw traits into a chess piece, you're going to be doing it with another chess piece. Okay. So it's important to think about that. So you're like, okay, that makes sense. What about my Abyssal contract currency? Where do I go spend that? So the easiest way to figure out what drops what is by using the map. So you press M, you go to your map, and let's click on an area. So we know that Silius 5 and 6 just opened up down here. So what I can do is I can click on Silius Abyss the dungeon. It'll have some blues that we can do, which are good to do, right? You should do these. Sometimes they give you shapeshifts, morphs, whatever. That's kind of like side stuff. But then you click over here and you go to the monster info. So what you can do is you can click on each floor of the dungeon to see what they drop, right? Now, since 5 and 6 just opened up, we can assume this is the place that's going to have the best loot. So for me, if you're looking to try to make some money and you don't really care about the loot, Demon Hoof trackers drop purple daggers, and they drop an etched alabaster band, which is one of the best rings you can get right now that's in open world drops. So these are really worth, and if you want to look at the value of what those are going for, you can go up here, you can go check accessories, go to ring. What do we got for an etched alabaster extract? If you get skill damage boost on this, you're getting 1,000. Right? You're getting 1,000 loosen for it. Now, granted, this is on EA. The prices are a little crazy. If you're on free to play, it's going to be different. But you could just farm this ring to extract and try to get some money. You could also just try to farm this ring for your own jewelry, right? Farming for extracts is a pain in the ass when it comes to jewelry. So this is where you would focus this stuff. Look at the ring, see what it's going for, see if it's worth your time to farm, right? And it's like, okay, I've burned through all my Abyssal contract currency. How do I get more of it? The only way to get this contract currency is from doing your instance dungeons and from doing contracts, the regular contracts like these yellow ones that you get from the contract merchant. Whenever you are doing your contracts, I recommend doing them in a spot. If you don't have sometimes there's quests you need to do for contracts, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what is the best place to farm for your contracts. Ideally, you want to go to a vendor, a contract merchant that has 50s and 50s. Right? Grey Claw has under 50 and 50. I recommend you get contracts from a 50-50 spot because it has the best chance to give you better contracts. Make sure when you're doing your contracts, you are looking at what they're giving you. These Roman numerals can go to 4, I believe. If the Roman numeral is up, it's a higher tier contract. It gives you more contract coins, potentially better loot. If you get a T2, 3, 4 purple contract, you're getting multiple purple bags out of these, right? So make sure you're looking at what it's giving you. It'll show a purple bag if you haven't seen that. Always focus those if you get them. And then you need to make sure daily you are buying things, right? These are your contract coins. I explain how to use these. To do your dungeons, you should already know this. I'll throw it in here. Look at the dungeon. Figure out if you want any of the purples. If you want the purples, farm that dungeon. That's pretty self-explanatory. But also look at the blues because you're most likely going to get the blues more than the purples. So is it going to suck if you get the blues? Yeah, but maybe if they have traits you want, these will help you flesh out your gear too. So ideally, have purples you're gunning for and blues you're okay with getting, right? Always think about that when you're doing these. The daily stuff you need to do is pretty self-explanatory. go to a town. I just go to the big castle because it's fun. Go over here. Contract coin merchant is a daily, I believe. We're gonna boop, boop, boop. 5 of these. You should get fish bait, and I will explain that in a second. Always buy fish bait daily. Daily. Okay. This purple chest is a trap. Don't go for these unless you just have an absolute abundance of contract coins. All the stuff I just bought is the stuff you should buy though daily. And weekly trade extract stones. You can't see it because my head is too big. Let me move that. Trade extractions, this stuff right here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Always get those daily. Guild merchant. I buy mana regen stuff because, you know, why not? I buy potions because why not? And then also I buy trait conversion stones. Those are the things you should buy, I believe. And then another thing that people don't do is, like, if you have an abundance of guild currency, what you can do is you can buy blue chests, and then these can get traits that you can either sell or throw into your gear. Okay, so these are really important. Go for these. The mats you'll figure out. If you run out of mats, you can buy those here. I wouldn't buy the mats ahead of time unless you fully understand the mats and all that stuff. Did I miss ink at the contract thing? Yeah. We definitely buy the enchanted ink weekly. Definitely buy that. Sorry, I forgot that one. That's my bad. Enchanted ink is how you make purple lithos. And if you're asking how do you make blue lithos, you fucking don't. Yeah, you don't. There's no blue lithos, okay? No blue lithos. Yeah, I don't know about the commander seals yet because I haven't started using them yet. But I'm sure you'll eventually use guild currency to buy commander seals. And the mystic portals, you just buy the keys, and then you will find mystic portals in the world on those, right? So you don't need to daily do mystic portals. You just need to daily have the keys to bang them all out whenever you want. Okay. It's not bad. It's not bad to buy contract coins, the purple contract coins, if you don't have a purple and you just need to get one. But ideally, you don't want to be spending your coins on that. Oh, commander seals are for transcendent skills. Ignore that then, whatever. And then fishing. Why is fishing important? Why are mystic portals important? Because mystic portals, which you get from mystic keys, and fishing has a chance to give you trait unlock stones, which are the pity currency to unlocking traits on your gear. It's one of the most important currencies in the game. It's what they give you for your weekly at the bottom. If you know what I mean? If you didn't want to choose one of these, that's what they give you down here is the pity. Trade unlock stones are one of the strongest currencies in the game. You really only want to use them on your BIS gear that you don't plan on replacing. Don't use these on random pieces of gear. But again, tying into it, the only way we can get these is from the weekly stuff, from fishing as a rare proc, or from mystic portals, which are a daily gate on the keys. Okay? Those are the main things you should be focusing on to make sure you don't get behind on progression with people. You don't need to play this game sweaty every day, but just daily log in, send out your Amatoys, buy those daily things, and then every few days burn through your currency that's built up, right? You can play this very casually and still keep up with the vets. You don't need to play it 12 hours a day. In fact, the game kind of incentivizes you to just do the main currency stuff because it's like the equivalent of burning your currency is the equivalent of farming like in one spot for a week in the open world. So can you do stuff when all these currencies are down? 100%. Is it worth your time? Not unless you have extra time. Okay? Not unless you have extra time. Thank you, Fuker. The one last way to get trade unlock stones that I need to talk about, just to make sure you know, is that you can craft them with your dungeon coins. So these dimensional soul shards you get as a pity from dungeons, you can craft this into trade unlock stones. I believe it is one from each dungeon. One from each dungeon will give you, where is it? I always forget where it is. This one. Common trait unlock stone. It gives you 3 trait unlock stones for one from each dungeon. This is why people want to do every dungeon. This is why you're going to have to learn how to do Shakal, because you want to get his currency so you can make these. So if you don't want the dungeon drops from these dungeons, I get that, but you do want this currency. So make sure you look at this and see if you want to craft it. The abyssal currency is very valuable. You can craft your dungeon currency into salvations. These salvations can make good gear, so do some research on that. It's for different builds, right? There's a couple rings you can craft with these. That's for you to figure out. I'm not telling you what to craft. I'm just telling you how to craft it. Okay. Those are the main things you need to worry about as a player at endgame, not wanting to fall behind. Okay.